everyone, and welcome to Multisensory Monday. Today I want to share with you a couple of ideas to help with B and D reversals. I'm sure we can all think of quite a few students who have struggled with which way does the B and which way does the D face. This is something that's really common, not just with struggling readers, but with beginning readers in general. A lot of kindergartners and first graders are going to have trouble with B and D reversals. And for your struggling readers, especially students with dyslexia, you might find that this persists into the upper grades as well. So I want to share with you a couple of strategies that can be used with different ages. The first idea that I have is to make sure that somewhere in your classroom or in your tutoring office, you have B and D posters right on the wall, visible for those students to look at when they know that they need to double check which one is the B and which one is the D. With all of the strategies I'm going to show you, the goal is to build independent learners. So once you introduce one of these strategies to your students, you want to continuously encourage them to try them on their own. Don't just give them the answer. You can say something like, why don't you check our posters and see which one you think is the B or which one you think is the D. Now these are available right on RLAC's website in the members area. I'll link it at the bottom for you. If you've been to one of the Phonics First trainings, I highly recommend you log in and print these out because they also reinforce the proper handwriting, which can help with the B and D reversals. So you'll see that for the D, we have the drum and then the drumstick. That means that D starts in the middle. It actually starts with a C stroke, up and down. So here you have a letter starting with a C stroke. Now the B is written a completely different way, which is why it helps students distinguish between the two. B has a bat coming before the ball, so B starts with the downstroke and then loops over. So by having posters like this for the students to easily see, you can reinforce the proper handwriting and give them somewhere to look if they're not quite sure if they're writing a B or. Now my next two strategies involve something that students always have around, their hands. You can teach your students that if they curl their index finger to touch their thumb, they make a B and a D. Now when you teach this, the way that these letters face is very important. So if you're in front of a class, you're going to want to turn and look over your shoulder and show them how you're making the B and the D. For students who already know their alphabet, this can be pretty simple because you can tell them, just like we read left to right, start at the left, say the alphabet, A, B, C, D. It goes in order. But if you're working with younger students who aren't sure about left to right yet, I have another strategy that will show them this visually. You can print out an alphabet strip missing the B and the D. Have the students shape their B and D, set them in the empty spots, and then they can say the alphabet with the letters there for guidance. A, B, C, D, E. Now you may just need to use that for a couple of weeks until the students are able to remember it on their own, which is great because, like I said, they've always got their hands around. Another way that you can help teach them to distinguish B and D using their fingers, and this works a little bit better for the older students, is to show them that if you make your B and D and push them together, using your imagination, you can picture that this is a bed. You have the head post and the footboard and then your mattress in the middle. Now if they're already good at identifying their letter sounds, you can tell them bed starts with the B sound, like B is at the beginning, and bed ends with the D sound, and D is the ending hand then. Once again, if your students need a visual, you can use something like this. It's just a big picture of a bed, and they can put their hands right on this to see how the B and the D are going to be situated. They make their B and their D shapes, stick it right on the bed, And for those students who maybe can't imagine this as a bed on their own, that extra visual can reinforce it. You just need to use the visuals until the students are comfortable doing this on their own. If you teach your students to use this strategy, or if you constantly refer your students to your B and D posters, you're going to notice that slowly they start to take ownership and they'll be looking on their own, or you'll see them glance off to those posters when they're not sure, which is exactly what you want. You want them to start to internalize needing to check if they're making a B or a D. So go ahead, print out those posters, check out the bed and the ABC strip. Both of those are going to be linked at the bottom of this post. And thank you so much for joining me. Remember to leave a comment telling me what you want to see on the blog next Multisensory Monday. Thanks. Have a good day.